Hello, children. We are learning the features of democracy. Already, we discussed the first and the second features of democracy, that is, major decisions by elected leaders and free and fair electoral competition. Today, we will learn the third and the fourth features of democracy. The third feature is one person, one vote, one value. We read about how the struggle for democracy was linked to the demand for universal adult franchise. What is universal adult franchise? It means that all adult citizens have the right to vote irrespective of their social and economic backgrounds. This principle has now come to be accepted almost all over the world. Yet, there are many instances of denial of equal right to vote. Let's check some of the countries. The first country is Saudi Arabia. Until 2015, in Saudi Arabia, women did not have the right to vote. Next country is Estonia, located in Northern Europe. Estonia has made its citizenship rules in such a way that people belonging to Russian minority find it difficult to get the right to vote. And the third country is Fiji, an island country located in the South Pacific Ocean. In Fiji, the electoral system is such that the vote of an indigenous Fiji has more value than that of an Indian Fiji. Indigenous means the native Fiji, and the Indian Fijian means the Indian people who were taken by the Britishers as bonded laborers to work in the plantation, and now they are part of the country. They have settled there, they became the citizen of Fiji. But their votes values are less compared to the native Fiji people. Our democracy is based on the fundamental principle of political equality. But as we have discussed these three countries, Saudi Arabia, Estonia, and Fiji, what we understand, political equality is not given to all its citizens. That gives us the third feature of democracy. In a democracy, every adult citizen must have one vote and each vote must have one value. So, after discussing this, we can come to the conclusion that Saudi Arabia, Estonia, and Fiji is an undemocratic country. We can't call it as democratic countries. Let's move on to the fourth and the final feature of democracy, that is rule of law and respect for rights. To discuss this fourth feature, let's check the country Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is an African country, that is, it is located in the African continent. It got its independence from the white minority in the year 1980. Since then, the country has been ruled by ZANU-PF, the party that led the freedom struggle. The full form of ZANU-PF is Zimbabwe African National Union Patriotic Front. Its leader, Robert Mugabe, ruled the country since independence. Elections were held regularly and always won by ZANU-PF. President Mugabe was popular but also used unfair practices in election. Over the years, his government changed the constitution several times to increase the power of the president and make him less accountable, meaning less answerable or less responsible. President got more powers by amending the constitution, but he became more irresponsible towards his citizens. Opposition parties, workers were harassed and their meeting disrupted. Public protest and demonstrations against the governments were declared illegal. There was a law that limit the right to criticize the president. Television and radio were controlled by the government and given only the ruling party's version. There were independent newspapers, but the government harassed those journalists who went against it. The government ignored some court judgments that were against it and pressurized judges. The example of Zimbabwe shows that popular approval of the ruler is necessary in a democracy, but it is not sufficient. Popular government can be undemocratic. There should be sufficient room for normal political activity, including political opposition in the period before election. This requires that the state should respect some basic rights of the citizens. Everyone should be equal in the eyes of law. These rights must be protected by an independent judiciary whose orders are obeyed by everyone. Similarly, there are some conditions that apply to the way a government is run after the election. A democratic government cannot do whatever it likes simply because it has won an election. It has to respect some basic rules. So, the fourth and the final feature of democracy is a democratic government rules within limits set by constitutional law and citizens' rights. From this, we can understand that a democratic government should rule as per the constitutional laws, and the government should respect the citizens' rights. So these were the four features of democracy. Let us sum up the discussion so far. We started with a simple definition that democracy is a form of government in which the rulers are elected by the people. Through a series of examples, we worked out four features of democracy as a form of government. Accordingly, democracy is a form of government in which rulers elected by people take all the major decisions. Elections offer a choice and fair opportunity to the people to change the current rulers. This choice and opportunity is available to all the people on an equal basis. And the last one, the exercise of this choice leads to a government limited by basic rules of the Constitution and citizens' rights.